Welcome back to SWU Farms. Today we're going to sell a bunch of lumber and make $83,000. Next, we're going to pick up all of our wood chips and get them sold. And those wood chips are going to bring in a hefty $34,000. Our balance is sitting at 152. Let's head home and start talking about the plans for the rest of the day. And probably at some point today we'll do another load of the rocks or the stones. It just doesn't bring in a lot of money, so it might not be something we focus on a lot until we get the concrete factory. But we do have the ability to get rid of this sawmill today. We finally ran out of it, so preparing the rest of this road is on our agenda. I want to start getting the automation completely set up, and we'll talk about that a little bit later for the lumber, the sawmill, and the greenhouse on what we're going to do moving forward so we can just progress on the rest of this property. But the first thing we want to take care of is this. We do have, a good amount of planks, long planks, and a little bit of wood beams stuck in the production. So what we're going to do is hop in the menu. We're going to grab our smaller sawmill, and we're going to change the output on all of these to selling. And then it is almost 1 o'clock, so we'll speed up till we get to 1 o'clock, and we should see a little bit of money come in and this thing be completely empty at that point. All right, the money did go up a little bit. Storage is now empty here, so let's go ahead and hop in the menu, and we will go ahead and sell this for another $17,000. I think we'll start about right here as we're just gonna kind of cruise forward and see if we can get this dirt road finished. Just want to clear all the debris here so that it's a clean path for us, and we might have to add a little bit of dirt, but we'll see how this feels driving over it 1 or 2 times. We'll come out this way. I think we might just deal with the terrain and just kind of sneak like so. And at some point we might want to buy some gravel to make these look a little bit better. Get them blended a little bit better, but I think that's gonna do. Let's go ahead and back out of the way with this, and we will head over. I guess we'll try the dump truck and see how it handles this dip in the road here. And I guess testing it while it's empty is completely doable here. And it doesn't seem, I think it's okay. If we have some issues, we can smooth out the ground a little bit. But let's go ahead and put that back where it belongs. And then there's a little something else I think I do want to finish right here just to make it look a little bit better. As we have this turn here, this slight turn. I think we will go ahead and clear this so that it's more obvious that this is a path you can take. And what I was kind of envisioning is working a little bit a ways down this road and seeing if we can just start establishing where we're going to start the first field. Not going to get to that point today, but I do want some more of this cleared so I can kind of get an understanding of where I want to focus on cutting down trees next. And we don't have to keep this road long term if we don't like it, but I'm just going to kind of weave through here a little bit, and we could have a field to the right here and a field to the left, and then have this completely lead to that open pasture of what is field 13 that we were talking about either last episode or the episode before that. And kind of just weave through the trees. I don't want to go too far because it's not our property, but we'll end it about right there. And go ahead and lift it so we don't make any more damage. So a little weaving road throughout our trees here, our forest. And let's, these little areas we didn't get very good. Let's try to go over them this direction and see if we can clean it up a little. Yeah, that's good. All right, I guess we'll do this all the way back because there was a couple spots that we didn't get good enough. Another one up here on the top of the hill. Yeah, that cleared nice. And I do want to take maybe the truck or we'll do the telehandler because it'll be similar to a tractor or a piece of equipment that would use this road eventually. Wanting to keep it as natural as possible, but start making it our own land that we're, gonna establish fields on. And there's just a couple more things we want to take care of before we really start focusing on shifting our focus to farming. And we'll go ahead and unload this. I was told that if I leave this lower until we get close enough, it won't be as jerky. And that seems to be the case, but it is just a little bit it wobbles a little too much for my liking, so this might be a short-lived piece of equipment, and actually we're going to talk about that in a few minutes. But let's try this road out, because this is something we could use for picking up bales, doing a lot of things around the farm eventually, if we ever do get a silage pit, which I don't know if we'll do on this series, but we could use it for that. We could use it for moving around, you know, pallets, all types of stuff. A little bit of a climb there. That might make sense to take some of the dirt away to make that climb up and down a little bit easier to deal with. But the rest of this, not bad. Let's go ahead and turn around and try it the other way as well. And it's just the big bump that I'm worried about. Right here. Yeah, I mean, you're going to have to just kind of go slow. If you try to go fast in the tractors, you might get some air there, maybe even bottom out, depending on what you're pulling. Yeah, the nature of this is just beautiful. Okay, so that seems like a good solution there. And we'll go ahead and get that shut off for now. But let's talk about the sawmill, what we're going to do. We got another plank. Well, this one's stuck over here. This might be here the entire playthrough. It's just, even with a auto load or super strength, I can't grab it. Auto load won't grab it. So we might just be stuck with that. But what we're gonna do, so we have 12,000 wood, so our job is gonna be to populate the actual production, and then after that we have all the equipment we need to move all of these goods. We could use this to move pallets, we could use the new skid steer, we could use, you know, get another pallet fork for the telehandler, and we have the truck and trailer that we've been loading these on. But to keep making progress in this series, I don't want to load pallets all the time. So we are going to hop in here and make a change to this production. We're going to change all of this to selling, and we're going to lose a little bit of money from it, and it's going to sell constantly. Every hour we will get some sales going, but that's absolutely how I want to run it. And we're going to do the same thing with the greenhouse. We're going to hop into the greenhouse. We're going to change these to selling. And we have automatic watering already, so that's taken care of. So there is a cost that comes with that. I believe it's 80%. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. I haven't done this yet on 25 as much as I did on 22. And I know there is mods that help me with that, and I changed it to like 95% instead of 80%, which is the number I keep remembering, but I could be wrong. So what I want to do next is I want to grab this, and we'll get the pallet forks onto it, and we're gonna see if this thing can handle pushing around those logs a little bit better. We do have a couple big boys over there that I want to start moving over to the sawmill. $176,000. So this is gonna be the last job we're gonna do for April, and then at that point we'll make it May, and we'll see if there's some good contracts to do. But we're still working our way towards the concrete production. That's gonna be a little bit of a grind. A couple months of lumber really would pay for it. But that's one of the last things I want to do before we start tackling getting some farming equipment. And to do so, I think in May we'll probably start clearing land on where we're going to want to put that first field. I know we talked about our workshop, which we will get to very quickly. We're going to need it. I think getting the concrete factory would be a little bit of a good upgrade to help us out. Are we going to be able to push this thing? We might have to cut this into smaller pieces. But yeah, the concrete factory will help us to be able to start building our own constructibles like we talked about. And, you know, we already have the lumber, so at some points we'll have to shut off selling, and we'll start, you know, making an inventory of lumber here locally, and goods from the concrete factory we'll bring over. And I don't know if this is stuck on something. Is it hitting this tree? Not yet. But I guess we could do this in a couple pieces here. And we'll go about right there. We shouldn't lose any volume going into the sawmill by cutting this tree. All right, we'll see if we can handle that a little bit better. Seems to. Let's let it completely fall. Let its gravity get fixed there. And I'm not sure what this is catching on, but it's a little too big for the log forks to be able to actually grapple it or grab it. I was hoping we had a little more oomph from this skid steer. It doesn't seem to be the case, but you know, with how the volume that these trees actually are, we don't have to do this very often. So some of the trees we're going to cut down today will probably sell directly, because we can only store so much lumber. And we could start making a nice pile. Maybe we clear a little bit of the land to the left of the sawmill that can start becoming like a storage preparation area for bringing lumber over to the sawmill once we have the capacity unlocked. Oof. Just kind of wiggle it back and forth here. And I think that should be close enough. So we have 12,000 now. Let's just see what happens. Jumped up to 23,000. All right, so we're going to get this completely full and populated as much as we can with these big boys, and then we're going to make it May and see what we want to work on, see where the money's sitting after actually selling the stuff overnight, and we'll see where we want to go from there. We were at $176,000. Now we're at 241. So we can see, you know, we're making good money overnight. Okay, this is 300 and like I've used this tractor a lot, but for $140,000, we could get 352 horsepower to start with. I just don't know if we can pass it up. Let's look at what contracts are looking like. Just fertilizer right now. Prefab walls, man, 20,000 prefab walls. See, these are things we might start thinking about. Okay, so I think we know it's a couple months before we can buy that production, and contracts aren't looking good. So I think what we're gonna do, yeah, man, I don't think we can pass on this. We're gonna buy that. It's gonna stay at the store for now. We do need to get it repaired over there, so that's fine. We could do some stone, but I think we are gonna buy the conveyor belts just to make it a little bit easier, because I'm not really wanting to deal with that. And we will, and we might do this today actually, is set up the auto drive course so where they can just loop if they need to. Okay, but we'll need a tractor to run the conveyor belts, depending on the ones we buy. So let's go ahead and head down our road here. We know we have the sawmill, and we might want to bring it out a little bit farther. Now let's go over to field 11 here and see what the size of this is, like actually walking it. I was kind of hoping to keep a tree line, and we might actually build our own. Can we see exactly where the property line is here when we click on this? Okay, so we're in their field now. If we come about right here and we look at the property line, we're still in there. So it's about this tree, and I am gonna mark that. So I can kind of know this is gonna be marked because it's our boundary, and that gives us a good indicator that X might be there forever. But then I think we have another tree. Yeah, about right here. Oh, the creek might actually determine what we're gonna do. It does end, but yeah, I guess that's not a lot of space. So maybe we keep walking out this direction. Just survey the land a little bit to see exactly where we want to start adding these fields. And I think what we want to do, the road is way back there. It's right there. So maybe this area. And I'm kind of thinking we want just like a wheat field to start with, and maybe get some chickens. Man, but where do you start? This dip here is gonna be interesting. So I guess let's go up to the road. Like if we wanted to mimic that, the field entrance was here, and we want to keep a good amount of these trees, but yeah, I guess we could start with this cluster here. And that cluster. So I'm just going to start marking. I'm not going to mark all of them, but where there's a cluster of them that we want to take down, we'll do that. And probably this cluster here. Not going to get all of this today. I just kind of wanted to get a little bit of a view of it. Can we make these go away? No. Oh, the can's empty now. Ah! But that's a lot of work to start with. Yeah, let's get this, just kind of delaying the inevitable at this point. Start chopping some trees down, and gosh, a tree harvester would be so nice right now. Probably should have bought that instead of the tractor. Okay, this is getting a little out of hand at this point already, but we did cut down a few trees, and now it's time to get these moved. And we got a lot of work to do on them still. But let's head over to the John Deere, because I am kind of thinking about a few things here. Let's head over to the repair station, because I want to do that first. Only 17 hours on this thing? What a smoking deal. And maintenance doesn't look too bad on it right now. And yeah, there's $3,000 to repair. Let's go ahead and do that. $3,600. Oh, I did want to look at some customizations too. Let's see. let's go in here and try to customize. I think no front loader on this. That's right. And we spent the rest or a good amount of our money on this log trailer here that I think is going to be super helpful with what we're doing now. Loading them on there. We still got to figure that out. I think we might see if there's an attachment for the telehandler, but now we're at 22,000. So let's get this home. But this is going to be nice. Be able to sell a lot more logs at one time with this. Yeah, should be good. Probably end up pulling it with the truck long term, but since we were here, I wanted to, you know, just get the John Deere home with us, and it's probably just gonna sit in the shed for a while until we actually get a cultivator or a plow to start doing some field work. Big upgrades. Yeah, I think the telehandlers, or not the telehandler, the skid steers are definitely not gonna work anymore because of the height of this trailer. So let's go ahead and look at the telehandler attachments now. There is a log fork. Okay, that is our plan, and we're gonna have that delivered. All right, here's that bad boy. Let's see if we can figure out the controls here. Well, I figured out how to close my door, or open my door. All right, let's see. Let's get this to, okay. Oh, there it is. All right, R1 and left and right opens that. And then L does this. Okay, that's not bad. But first, I guess we need to get some of these trees prepped. But yeah, this will be good because it can definitely grab those trees. So, all right, time to get the chainsaw out again. We'll start delimbing some of these and start getting them added to that trailer and see how much we can clean up this area and, you know, sell some trees. Still haven't fixed it to where we can just drive under these things, huh? Just would be real nice to be able to sneak under and not just push them. It's just sad to me. There we go. And then we can close that. We'll back out so we're not stuck on that tree. But I'm wondering, like, we have these at 6 meters. What's the size of this trailer? I should have paid attention to that when we bought it. Looks like these are going to be a little, no, these might be perfect actually. Yeah, that's not bad. Not bad at all. Oh, we got to be careful here. Got to be a little bit more straight there. There we go. All right, now we can tilt this and go ahead and open that and just drop it in. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. All right, we're gonna get busy. Oh, now there's an R9RX for sale. What is happening in this town? Man, good sales. All right, this is probably all we want to do for the first load here. It's got on here pretty good amount of wood, so we'll use this. We'll turn around in this meadow here. We still haven't met this person to find out if they're going to be willing to sell. Oh. Forgot about the turn. I can't see. Let's switch to this mode. I think this will be easier out here. Hopefully we don't get the trailer stuck on anything, but we can loop around. And then we're going to head on into town to the sawmill. Get this stuff sold. See how much this brings in. We don't need to, you know, again, we have our sawmill that we definitely have plenty of trees to fill up, and the bigger ones we're keeping here for that purpose. But these ones that make it really easy to do the lumber work like this, yeah, we're definitely going to sell because, oh, that needs to get moved. Who did that? I mean, we're starting to get some equipment that we're not using very often, but I love it. I love all the options we have. Let's see if some of this can get taken right now. Oh, all of it. All right, we're at 47,000, so we can start prepping some more, bring it over here for when it's ready. But let's double check. Let's see where we're taking this. And oh, there's lots of options. This is the best price. Let's head there, see how much this load brings in. Our first time selling with our new trailer. We're gonna drive the tractor. We'll give the truck a break, but we'll probably switch to the truck eventually because it does drive faster. But I feel like this is balanced really well with the tractor pulling it. It's a pretty good looking load there. All right, we've been here before. Now we should be able to drive in here just fine without having to back up. So let's go about right there. So we got it unstrapped. We got pulled in here. Let's go ahead and see. 23 grand, that's not bad for one load there. All right, let's get back. We're gonna keep, well, that's why we didn't back in. We're gonna stay busy clearing that land, and we'll report soon, but $47,000 every hour. It seems like we're making about 3 grand off our productions right now, and we'll want to improve that long term. We spent a little bit too much money to be able to afford the conveyor belt system, but we'll definitely get that soon. A couple months time, we should be able to afford that. And we're going to keep an eye out for used equipment moving forward for everything farming we're going to want to do. you know, getting the fields cultivated or plowed. I'll probably lean towards a cultivator. I just don't enjoy using plows in this game. And then, you know, a seeder. We need a harvester. We're gonna need something for fertilization. We're gonna need something for surveying the dirt. We're gonna need something for lime. We got a lot of equipment. It would be nice to maybe get a couple more possible revenue streams going as well. But there's some detail. That's pretty slick. Well done. You know, and wanting to do the concrete production still, that is so pricey. We might run into a situation where it's going to take an extra year to get to planting the fields. But like, I think this is all tracking to where we're going to be making a ton of money and moving pretty quick still when it comes to getting all the farming equipment. Just got to make sure we do all the prep work before we go full in on farming. Yeah, I just love driving into this and the progress we're making, especially in this mode. We're gonna have to widen that road a little bit. Yeah, get that set up. That seemed like a pretty good spot for it last time. And yeah, we got to turn that off when we leave. But we have all of this stuff that I want to take over to the sawmill. I just didn't want to chop this down and put it on that trailer. Same with the big boy here. And then there's another big one over here right now, and the top of another one of these trees. What are these called? The red pines. Man, so much to do. I'm a little overwhelmed, guys. A little overwhelmed, but I do want to finish what we started, the things we marked, and I think I'm going to add this cluster here. And then I don't know if we'll clear all this just to get a view of it. Yeah, let's get busy. So I think we've hit our capacity here. We're going to go ahead and head in with another load. It's almost noon, so we should see another $3 grand pop in probably before we even get there. So we should be sitting at about 52,000 before selling this lumber. And I have a feeling this might be about a $30,000 load here too. But we're gonna have to go real careful around the turn so we don't tip this, because it's pretty top heavy. Yeah, 52,000 is where we're sitting now. It's 12:07, so we just missed that. But yeah, it's nice to have income coming in every hour like that. Maybe another greenhouse, you know, maybe start growing that area. But we got to clear lands. Really, our focus right now is really clearing land so we can get some fields going. And I think we're gonna do one more load after this, and then we'll take the, what is that even called? It's not a bulldozer. Is it a bulldozer? Oh, that one's not gonna, that might be okay. That might be okay. That might be okay. Oh, just this one log. So 25 grand plus 2,000. That's not bad. We're back to $80,000. Yep, let's go get that last load. Oh, a couple of limbs here didn't sell as well. So we'll grab those. Those are light enough for me to pick up. Boom, boom. And you know, 150 bucks that was sitting there. We didn't want to take that home with us. All right, let's get back. We got one more load to do for the day. And then we will, like I said, we'll clear the land, the grass at least, to see it as dirt. It won't be an official field until we can get a cultivator or a plow, but it'll definitely tell us how close we are to the size of field we're looking at. Sorry, school bus. And if it's a good start or not. But, you know, we can baby step it. We can start with a small field to begin with. They're going to be small. Let's get home. I just love it, guys. I know I say it a lot, but I just love the way this is turning out. Let's drive in here. You can see how much we've opened it up. I think we're going to want to go wider, though. It's going to be a real skinny field. And this, gosh, this is, it's a little more work than I was anticipating, but it's getting there. It's getting there. And we'll get a better view of it here in a little bit, but there's going to be a lot more clusters that need to go away. I want to just get this. Was it 3 trees here? We might not even sell them. We might just preload them and then get the bulldozer out here and start seeing how the size actually looks as we, I don't know. I just like to see it as dirt, and that'll tell me how we're progressing. But we're going to cut these down into the right size. Then we'll get them moved over into the trailer, and then we'll get going with that. And just getting the equipment moved so we can start taking a look at the size of this thing. Not quite the load we'd want to sell there, you can see. Not bad though. Good amount of lumber. And let's get us a nice prep for the next load that we're going to sell. But let's go ahead and hop in here. We'll lower this, make sure it is activated. And we're going to start just clearing a little bit to get a good view. And I might even just kind of work around some of these trees that we haven't cut down yet to kind of give us an idea of what we want to cut still. Like, I think I want to just go behind this group and really kind of work my way around and just clearing this grass by just turning it over with the bulldozer here, the little tiny bulldozer. I think will help us get a good view of it, a good visual. So we start looping back here, getting closer to the neighbor's property there. But I'm gonna clear what I think is a decent start, and then I'll show you what it looks like. We'll try to jump in the sky and see if we can get a decent look at it when we get done. Yeah, jumping in the sky here, we can get kind of an idea. It seems small, but you can see if it starts there, loops around, we'll want to get rid of these trees and go all the way back here and get rid of those trees as well. I mean, it's not that bad of a start, but I think we do want to widen it. I think we will probably leave the area over here for the sawmill and keep working this direction a little bit more, a few more of these clusters. Boy, that's a lot of work, though. It's going to be a lot of work, and it's going to be really rewarding. 83,000 liters of seeds for 374,000. Wow. That's a contract. Yeah, I think next we'll get the stump grinder out, start working on some of these stumps, and we might need to bring in some dirt and fill this up and raise it a little bit. I think that would help with the fog issue we're having here at 120. We still have some fog out here. But yeah, we'll definitely want to push back that direction. We'll work on these clusters next that are inside the field area already, but we definitely want to push it back that way to give us a little bit more room to make a field. But I think that's going to do it for today's episode. We did get a little bit of equipment here, some upgrades, and I think pretty good progress. Steady, slow and steady. That's the saying. Slow and steady wins the race, and this is going to be a sweet farm when we get done with it. Thanks for hanging out. I'm Socks Way Up. I will catch you on the next episode.